Who was Abdul Qadeer Khan, or rather Dr. Abdul Qadeer Khan, a metallurgist who was called the father of the Islamic bomb? Was he really a nuclear scientist, or was his specialty limited to metallurgy? What exactly did he do? Here is an interesting story of how he became a zero from a hero and got placed under house arrest, where he eventually died in Pakistan. Like everything else, Pakistan has double faces, double speak, double everything. There is also something called as PAECA, and they were doing nuclear bomb development along with AQ Khan's Khan Research Labs. And these two used to always have competition. They'll have fights in front of the political establishment and the military establishment, saying who's better, who's not better, and all that. Very interesting stories that have been placed in public domain, especially in the books. If you read the book Eating Grass, The Making of the Islamic Bomb, there's a lot of interesting stories about how AQ Khan was like a child. He had no role in the 1998 atomic bomb test that Pakistan conducted within weeks of India doing it. And it is believed that that bomb was not even probably assembled in Pakistan with instruction sheet from China or North Korea. It doesn't matter. They are all in between these two. They have all these wheelings and dealings. Be that as it may, my 2 cents is Pakistan never really had the bomb, and I don't think they'll ever have. It will be always somebody else putting something in their hands and saying, yeah, take this thing and paint it over and put your name, and this is your bomb. This is my 2 cents. I could be horribly wrong, of course, but let's take a look at what happened to Dr. Abdul Qadeer Khan. This fellow was born in Bhopal and had a visceral hatred for anything Indian and Hindu, and this kind of drove him. He goes to work as a translator in, I think if I remember correctly, Holland, some West European country, and that's where he started xeroxing a lot of stuff about nuclear designs and things like that. And he would keep writing to Zulfikar Ali Bhutto as to what he could do if he was invited back into Pakistan. After some time, I think Bhutto said, oh, let's give him a chance, because India exploded their first one in Pokhran in 1973, I think, if I remember correctly. Indira Gandhi had done it, and that was just an exploratory thing. It wasn't a big deal, but at the same time, it announced to the world that India also was nuclear. 1964, China had tested their bomb. So there is always this competition. You need to get yours together. Remember, United States was the first one. They used it against Japan to end the Second World War in that theater, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And then afterwards, it is believed that sometime around 1950s, that the Soviet Russia managed to steal the secrets, or appropriate or use their East German scientists, whatever you want to think of, and got their own bomb, and from there it came to China. So basically the whole thing originated from US now. Truly, it has allowed its technology to proliferate across the world. It is believed that India's is completely from ground up. Again, you can say, aha, this guy is born an Indian, therefore he says that Indian technology is unique. Do your research, guys, and if you want to disagree with me, please rebut with facts. Okay, let's get back to Dr. AQ Khan. I love to talk about this because this is the ultimate lying and double-facedness that these guys did. So let's take a look at what happened to AQ Khan. Hero to house arrest. 1974 to 1998, the guy could do no wrong. And he was like the darling of the masses in Pakistan, and he was supposed to bring them their Islamic bomb. What was the catalyst? The 1974 nuclear test of India, when Khan returned to Pakistan from the Netherlands with stolen centrifuge design. See, I thought it was 73 to 74. It's okay. The achievement was that once that happened, Bhutto, and I think Bhutto had still some control over the military, but of course it was with the connivance of military that KRL, Kahuta Research Laboratories, was founded, and believe it or not, he was enriching uranium. The thing about this was the centrifuges were huge, round, I think stainless steel gleaming structures, and this impressed the hell out of some of the generals, including General Zia-ul Haq, who gave him a lot of money. This is, of course, in the late 70s, mid 80s, which was like 10 years later. But at its peak, Pakistan conducted nuclear tests in Chagai, and Khan became a national icon of defense. Although, if you read that book, The Making of the Islamic Bomb, you will see that it was PAEC that assembled the whole unit together, and AQ Khan had nothing to do with it, and he insisted still on pressing the button that would start the test going, and even that PAEC refused, and finally they gave it to somebody else who had worked in the program from a very early stage, and that basically employee was the one who was given the honor of pressing the button that would essentially initiate the nuclear test on behalf of Pakistan. Anyway, this is all there in that book, Eating Grass. You can read this. Now, while he was doing this Islamic bomb development in Pakistan, what he also did was he was selling this technology to many countries, including Iran, North Korea, and Libya. And the hub was that he operated a global proliferation ring via Dubai, Malaysia, and Europe. Well, when did this all get caught? After 9/11, when suddenly the United States realized that AQ Khan was a very, very dangerous proposition. What happened was in 2003, a ship which is registered on BBC China, bound for Libya, was seized with Khan's centrifuge parts. And on February 4th, 2004, Khan appeared on TV, confessed to proliferation, and was placed under house arrest. The impact was that he took the whole thing on himself, but he saved Pakistan from direct sanctions. At that time, Musharraf was he was the chief martial law administrator or president or whatever title he had bestowed himself. He's another megalomaniac like this new guy, Asim Munir. So I have given you all these references so you can get it from there. But my takeaway about this whole thing is Pakistan still lives in this dream that it is a nuclear power. I think that needs to be fact checked. IAEA is playing along because I have a feeling that United States wants India to think that Pakistan is a nuclear power. Although in Op Sindoor, India did call Pakistan's bluff. Indirectly, it also called America's bluff. And perhaps it is a realization for other countries like Saudi Arabia, who are believed to have invested billions just in case Iran explodes one, that they can have access to an Islamic bomb of their own. So this is where the story ends. If Iran is also able to pull it off, it would have been again technology and centrifuge designs that this Dr. AQ Khan sold them. Remember that when the Israel-US campaign was going on against Iran, they took out a lot of centrifuges all over Iran. So you know where the whole thing started. But this is the interesting story about nuclear technology and nuclear bombs. A lot of these things, there are some original designs, like for example, I think the British technology, the French technology, these are all original designs. They just looked at what happens and then they did it from ground up. They did not steal, in my opinion, from the United States. It is believed that the Russians stole it from Los Alamos labs in United States. Again, this is not something that's going to be publicly explained, but you can see the number of people who got caught spying for other countries and so on and so forth. So that's what happened. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.